When buying the home, you may have mortgage lenders calling you from everywhere. How do you vet out the bad ones and find the folks with the good experience, the lenders you want to work with? Stick around, I'm going to show you how to vet a loan officer. Thank you for visiting again. This is Brandon Lewis with Integrity Home Mortgage, local residential lender since 2002. Again, we try to take as much pain out of the process as possible by educating our client and helping them as much as possible through this process. Before we get into today's topic though, you know what's coming. Let's hit that subscribe button, hit the bell as well, and give me a thumbs up too if you don't mind. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for upcoming videos, please put those down in the comment section as well, and I will definitely attend to those and do our best to provide a video on that topic and absolutely answer every question. All right, now one of my favorite quotes of all time from a gentleman we've all heard before, Mr. Albert Einstein. One of his quotes is, "The only source of knowledge is experience." Couldn't agree more. The more knowledge you have, the more experience you have, and you're only going to gain that knowledge through experience. All right, today we're going to learn how to vet a loan officer. By that I mean let's learn how to separate the inexperienced loan officers from the experienced loan officers. And what we're going to do is we're going to look this up through the government's mortgaging licensing system. Within this system, we do have to put our 10-year employment history. So you will be able to see how long a mortgage professional has been in the business. Are they 2 months in and cutting their teeth on your deal? Or are they 20 years in like myself and just about seen it all? Never want to say you've seen it all because there's something crazy will come. Now let's get into today's topic. Again, now I'm going to share my desktop here. I'll pop in and out of the video from time to time as I'm explaining different things, but I really want you to be able to focus on the website itself. So I'll be pointing out certain areas, important information to be looking for. So let's jump into the government's website and see how can we verify a financial provider. All right, so of course we're going to go to our favorite website, Google. We're going to go ahead and do a search for NMLS Consumer Access. So there we go. Right there with the blue circle is the link that we want. So we'll click the NMLS Consumer Access. Automatically takes us to a home page where we want to prove we're not a robot. I didn't like that first one, so let's get an easier one here. Once we enter this in, then it's going to take us to a page where we can begin to search for not just loan officers, but mortgage companies as well. So there it is, verify your financial service provider. Now in the field right here, this is where you would enter a lender's NMLS identification number. This is a number that the lender should have provided to you at the introduction. My NMLS ID is 497422. So let's enter that and take a look at my info. See if I'm experienced or not. Once we put in my ID number, then my information pops up. Now, of course, y'all know me as Brandon. You now know the truth. I go by my middle name there. So, Stephen Brandon Lewis, that is me. That means you've got the correct lender. It also shows you what mortgage company that I work for. So you also see Integrity Home Mortgage. Not only does it show you the company that I work for, it also provides the company NMLS number right below that. So you could look up the NMLS information for Integrity Home Mortgage as well. Now let's jump in here and see what information the NMLS Consumer Access website is going to provide you. So we get into the detailed information. The top box is really going to be just my personal information, my NMLS ID, my telephone number, fax. We're not in the 80s anymore. Now it'll show you my other names, any aliases, and as y'all know, I do go by Brandon. Stephen Brandon is my official name. So you will see a couple aliases there. Sometimes I use the first initial. More importantly, right below that, you can see the regulatory actions. Have any regulatory actions been taken against me as a loan officer? Absolutely not. None have been posted to NMLS, none have been filed that I'm aware of. We try to do everything right the first time. All right, the next section is employment. So this one is going to show you what companies am I authorized to represent. So as I will always introduce myself, I am Brandon Lewis with Integrity Home Mortgage Corporation. And you can see now that You can validate that information through the NMLS Consumer Access website. Now, while we're in the employment section, you will see this blue hyperlink or this blue button that allows you to expand it to additional information. This is going to be my 10-year self-reported employment history. So this means that it's my employment history coming directly from me as I've submitted for my background checks and licensing in the mortgage industry. This is going to show you who's experienced and who's not. So looking over here real quick, going all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that I started my career in mortgage lending in January of 2002 with a company called Syntex Home Equity. And then from there, I did make some changes through different companies. Of course, we had the housing crisis that did put a lot of companies out of business at that time. But you can see through this that I have spent my entire career in the mortgage industry solely on mortgage origination. And I would hope that a consumer would look at this and say, hey, this is a lender that I want to work with. Now, we do a lot of rescue deals. Those are deals done by other lenders that may blow up. They send them to us to fix it, and if it's fixable, we'll get them closed. The one thing that I always do though is I pull the NMLS consumer access information on the loan officer that made whatever mistake or created the problem. And the one thing that I want to see is the experience. You know, was this just an honest mistake? Is this a rookie mistake? You know, what exactly happened here to try to help the client understand what has happened with the initial mortgage that is not going to close. And then now we're saying, hey, we can do this for you and make it happen. So again, you're not seeing years of mortgage industry on there. I'd be a bit concerned. You know, for example, I've pulled some up before on deals that we've saved, and, you know, people have been at beer breweries, you know, for the past 4 or 5 years. Nothing wrong with that at all, but he had only been in the mortgage industry a couple months. Okay, so that is one of the most important sections there. Employment history. Always check this out closely. Look how much time they have actually spent in the financial industry. Not just say as a financial advisor, but what have you done in the mortgage side only? All right, so let's keep on looking and see what other great information this NMLS Consumer Access website provides. All right, moving on down to the next section, federal registration. This here is more for your loan officers that work at the big banks. They are not required to have individual state licenses like myself. Now, down below the federal registration, we have your state licensing and registration. Now, that is going to show you what state is the loan officer licensed for. So for myself, I can originate loans in Virginia, and we're working on some surrounding states as well. But this will show you exactly what state I can legally originate loans in. Now, down below that is an extremely important section. This is going to be the regulatory actions. Has anybody filed any complaints against me? Has the government filed any violations against me? And of course, the answer is going to be no on that, as we do everything by the books and right the first time. All right, so just to recap real quick, how do we vet out the inexperienced loan officers from the experienced loan officers? Well, we look at their job history, right? All right, so that's about all we have today. Wanted to do a real quick one on that. Before we go, let's click that subscribe button, click the bell as well. Throw some questions in the comment section if you have any. And again, this is Brandon Lewis with Integrity Home Mortgage. I'll see you on the next mortgage tip.